Hi everyone, it's Marek, and today we will do a deep dive into how to play Unleash Prerift event. The ultimate guide I prepared for you is based on my experience. I played some Prerift events in Spiritforge, exactly 8 of them, live. I've been preparing a lot for previous previous Prerift events and for this as well. So all of this knowledge I will be sharing, or my insights, are based on my experience. I'm a limited player mostly for various games, and my knowledge about this particular format I applied to Riftbound, and I need to say I think it's my favorite format. Okay, so without any further ado, let's deep dive. So, basic rules. Your deck has to contain at least 25 cards, and you can mix up to 3 colors. But what is most important, it's better to have only 2 types of runes, and the third color you will be running would be the one which doesn't need power, so you don't need to hide your runes, because you want to have as much consistent deck as possible. Also, regarding the rules, you draw an extra card if you don't have a legend or champion. From my experience, you always run champion and almost never you play legends, because having legend won't benefit you more than this one extra card you would have if you'd play only champion. And also, having champion can allow you to build your deck a different way. For example, as we know, in constructed, Draven decks before bans were also so powerful because they had Draven, 4 mana Draven champion, which you were always playing on a second turn. And also you can create your deck as you will be building it to have always your 3-4 mana champion to play him on your turn, on your second turn. Or there is also another insight that you can always have Evelyn, which is the only 2 mana champion in your command zone, and always play her as your 2-drop. But as you will be building deck, you will be building it out of 5 booster packs you would get and 1 out of 6 preconstructed decks, and you will always have Ashe promo. As you are building deck, as I already mentioned, you prefer to have champion and not legend, because this one extra card would be more beneficial than having the skills of your legend. In my opinion, only in Unleashed, only legend worth playing is Mastery if you have really good deck which can gain XP. Because if you don't have good units allowing you to do so, just don't do it. It's too much effort, and you will be focusing not on winning the game, but on some points which won't get you anywhere. As you are creating your deck, you need to have 25 cards, and out of those 25 cards, you should have around 18 units. 17 and 19, but not less than 17, because in Riftbound you need units to score, so you need to have all of those units. And also, if you will be running these 17, 19 units, you can have 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 spells or gears, just combat tricks, because you will be playing 1 good unique a turn and then 1 spell or combat trick, so you don't need to have more of them, and probably you won't get more of them, because playing weak cards, it's not something I would recommend you. And the last thing, it's better not to play a battlefield than a battlefield which might benefit your opponent. From my experience, it's better to just don't play a battlefield than give your opponent an option to come back. Because of course, if you play a battlefield and it benefits you, it allows you to go even farther ahead. But if it benefits your opponent, it can allow him to have a comeback into the game, and we don't want to give our opponent any chances or any opportunities to get ahead of us. And regarding mana curve and deck building, so in these 25 cards, you need to have this around 18 units. And out of those 18 units, 4 needs to be 2 mana units, because you need to play something on a turn 1. Of course, you can, as I mentioned, you can cheat during your deck building and always play and have a champion unit with 3 mana cost, like Diana, and always allow your opponent go first, so you can play it on a turn 1, and that way you won't have to play units with 2 mana, 3 mana or 4 mana, so you'll be just playing 5 or 6 mana drops, or even more expensive. But in case your opponent wins the roll and makes you go first, you will just have a blank turn 1. And also a problem regarding it is that you may not have that many big units in your prerift kit with your boosters altogether. And also there is the option I mentioned you regarding Evelyn, that you can have her as only 2 mana drop, and then you will be paying only 3-4 mana drops and the bigger unit, so with 5 mana plus. It's pretty cool to play, and you don't play Evelyn with any of her abilities, just play her as a 2-drop, guaranteed 2-drop every game. Okay, so you have 4 units with 2 mana, and you need also between 2 to 4 units with 3 to 4 mana, because in Riftbound you are getting 2 runes every turn. So in first turn you have 2 mana, 2 runes, you play 2 mana unit, and in second turn you have 4 mana. So it doesn't matter if you have 3 or 4 mana units. That's why you prefer to have those 4 mana units, because they are usually better. And the rest of the deck, so this around 10 cards, should be 5+ mana units, because you want to have as many big units to just overrun and stamp your opponent. And the last thing, as you will be playing spells and gears, their mana cost is not that important, because they need to be good, they need to be efficient. Regarding red commons, if you see some cards are on green, some have yellow, and some are with red. With red, you never play it, because they are not good enough. For example, a unit, 3 mana unit, which will have some extra force if you played another card, no. Or a unit which has 3 mana unit but 5 during attack, you also don't want to have it. Also, Mischievous Mara is just a 2 mana drop. If you don't have enough, you play it. Revenalor Keeper, Smite and Vault Breaker, those 3 cards are in yellow, because sometimes you don't want to play red as your chosen color with red manas, because those 3 cards are really good. But if I don't choose to play them and don't choose to play red color over any other color, I won't miss them. And regarding Arena Kingpin, Inferna, Towering Pyrophant and Upstage Comedy, these are just cards which I would play in any number, maybe except Upstage Comedy, I would play only one of them. But Inferna, Arena Kingpin and Towering Pyrophant, I would play as many of them as I can in my deck, because they are just outstanding. Inferna, it's a 2 mana drop, but it's even good during the late game, because you have this 2 mana free power while attacking, because of the ambush ability. Regarding the green common tier list, Frisky Hunter, Skyward Strike and Munch I would always play, because they are just good units. And regarding Herald of Spring, Shadow Watcher, Vujo Apprentice, Combat Experience and Mutated Mauser, I would play them if I would have Yi as a chosen champion, chosen legend, and I can benefit from this XP ability. And Double Trouble or Soul Sword, they are just too weak to play, even if you have all of the setup. Regarding the blue tier list, Dramatic Visionary, Eclipse, Iceveil Archer, Moonlight Affliction and Ruin Rex, amazing. Ruin Rex in any number. Moonlight Affliction, maybe 1, maybe max 2. Regarding Downstage Dramatics, I would play it if you have Battlefield which would benefit +1, and you have some heavy spell deck. And Fate Weaver, if you have like 6 or 7 expensive spells, you can play him. Sprite Burst, it's really cool because for 5 mana you have practically 6 mana removal spell, because those 3 sprites can run into someone and kill his 5-6 mana unit, but they will be dead the next turn, so play one, pretty cool. More of them, I'm not convinced. And regarding orange, Dragon, Soul Sage, Grim Resolve, outstanding. Hunter's Machete, Kinku Initiate, Targonian Visionary, and Grump, always in any number. And Gemhand Hunter, it's just a 2 mana drop, the same as Diplomat. Not great, not terrible. Regarding Concentrate and Towering Combat, I would just never play them. Even if I have a E deck, I would not play Concentrate, because I need to, during 7-8 turns, gain this XP to have this 1 mana to draw 2 cards spell. It's really cool to draw 2 cards for 1 mana, but the effort and the effort you need to take in order to play it, and having that card for that many turns is just not that efficient in this really tempo heavy format. Regarding purple, Bewitching Spirit, amazing. Crescent Guardian, just vanilla unit, pretty cool. Isoret, really good spell. Mega Task, 6 power, 6 mana, amazing. Starcrossed, really cool. Vicious Snapjaws, also great. But Walking Roost, never played. Lunar Boon, no, don't play it as well. Regarding Evershade Stalker and Mr. Root, they are just fillers, so you can play them if you don't have anything else. Regarding yellow, Bundle Soldier, really cool, but you need to have this yellow as your color deck with yellow runes. Dredger is just a really good 2 mana drop, that's why you don't always play it, but with cards you always play, it's Sergeant, Heroic Charge, amazing, and Ultra Soft Poro. So regarding cards you sometimes play, fillers. Carrion Dredger, Crimson Pigeons, Loyal Poro, Shopheart's Heirloom. Shopheart's Heirloom is pretty cool, but you need to have at least 2 or 3 other XP generations, because of course it's for 2 mana you give 1 time your unit plus 2 force, and then it's a dead card if you don't have any XP gain, but you want to benefit as much as you can from your cards. Soul Harvest, not that great, because there are not that many weak units, so you, instead of killing weak unit of your opponent, you can just play a big unit of your own in this spot. Black Rose Dignitary, I don't recommend. And regarding uncommons, Fresh Beans, Lotus Trap, Rite of Conquest, Scorch Claw, never play them. Regarding Square Up, Yeti, always play them in any number. Lord Broadmane and Monster Harpoon, I would play them only if I'm running red as my main color with red runes. If not, I won't play them. And regarding green, back off, pretty amazing, but as you can see, regarding green uncommons, there are not that many cards you always want to play. Forgotten Signpost can be good in some of the cases. And regarding all of the remaining cards, I would just not play them. They are just not efficient enough. Regarding blue, Chakram Dancer, Deadly Flourish, and Sprite Fountain, I would always play them. Crescent Strike, if blue is my main color. Petal Pixie, this is just a filler 2 mana drop, so I would play it if I need units. Frigid Jewel, Gastwalker, or Soul Shepherd, never. And regarding orange, always play Gentle Gem Dragon, Imposing Challenger, and Willy Newtfish, because they're just vanilla creatures, good mana cost and good power. Call to Battle, I mean, if you have some removal for opponent's small units, it will be beneficial, because if he can't send you a unit to kill this small unit, he would have to send you the good unit you would remove. So it's a pretty good removal, but it's really conditional. That's why I wouldn't play it always. The same for Stare Down. Those cards I could play, but it's not like when I see it I need to put it in my deck. And the rest of them, as you can see, I wouldn't. So purple, Angler Beast, amazing, Existential Dread as well, but those are purple hungry cards, so you need to have purple runes. Sinister Poro and Insightful Investigator, pretty cool. Investigator, you don't even need to use your XP, because you just look at your opponent's hand and you have the knowledge what can happen. That's why even without that it's really cool, but still filler. All of the other cards not that great in limited. Regarding yellow, as you can see, Starhound, amazing. Mage Seeker Investigator, really good. Safety Inspector, really good. Shadow Call, amazing. And Divining Shells, pretty good, because it's a +2 option which your opponent will see that you can play. So if you don't have any combat tricks, you can play it. It's a semi-combat trick. And Protector, it's a just 2 mana drop. Stalking Wolf, you don't want to play cards which needs to kill your cards in order to play them, and they are not that great, and you won't have that many birds and so on, because I mean, you can have some random prerift kit which can have all of those birds, cats, dogs and poros, but most of the times you wouldn't. So most of the time you wouldn't play Stalking Wolf, and the same as Undying Loyalty. Okay, so let's now dive into pre-constructed decks. So Vi, as you can see, it's the best deck. You have 8 playable cards. This number 8 in green, I just put, as you can see, how many cards I would play from it always. So Vi, it's a best unit, one of the best units, because Orange Rengar is the best unit. You could play as your chosen champion, and all of the other cards which we just spoke, they're just amazing standalone. So and I'm not putting these middle cards here. I just want to show you that in this particular prerift kit, you have 2 cards and a legend, which you will never play, 8 cards which you will always play, and other cards which you can play sometimes. The second best one is Kha'Zix, because as you can see here you have 7 cards which you will always play. And Kha'Zix is amazing as well as Vi as the chosen champion, because also he has Ambush. Because Call to Battle and Investigator, Mystic Root and Diplomat are fillers, so you can also play it, but they are not that high quality, so that's why Kha'Zix Prerift Kit is a little bit worse than Vi. Regarding Diana, as you can see, there are 7 as well cards which you will always play. Diana is sometimes you can play her, and I already spoke about different cards. Also pretty good kit. Now we go to the worst ones, because if we get Jhin, we can play 5 cards right away, but maybe Sprite Burst, maybe Ravno if we will play red runes. But it's not that great. Jhin is not that great as a chosen champion, because you play 4 mana for 4 power for force unit, and you need to pay power, and you have nothing in return, so not that great. Regarding He, as I said, this is the only legend which you can play sometimes during your prerift event, but you need to have at least 3 grumps. You need to have pretty good XP generation, but from big bursts from units. If you would have to play Mustomper or any other weak units with Hunt in order to get it, it's not that great. And having Master Yi as a chosen champion, it's amazing. As you can see, there are 4 cards which you would always play, and some cards you need to make your deck work, so fillers, so that's why it's not that great. And the worst one is Ivern, because you just play Heroic Charge and this big boy for 5 mana 6 power, and rest of the cards are fillers or just straight away bad. And so if as I would make a tier list, Vi is the best, Diana with Kha'Zix are A tier, Mastery would be B tier, and Jhin C, and Ivern is just the weakest because of the quality of cards in it. And regarding chosen champions, as I said, you always want to have a champion with ambush. It's just too good because you are always threatening your opponent with additional combat trick you can play during the combat. And also Evelyn is also in this S tier because she can cheat the mana curve and allow you to build deck in a different way. That's why it's a S tier. A tier is are units with accelerate, so Rengar and this orange card. And regarding B tier are just units which can you play as your chosen champion because of their good ability or good mana cost. And C tier are units which don't have that good cost or that good ability, and D tier are units which I would never play as a chosen champion. Actually, I would never play C and D tier units, but if you have to, that's the list I would recommend. And regarding legends, I would never play Jhin, Ivern, LeBlanc and Pike in limited. Maybe sometimes play Rengar because of his buff, maybe Vi if you have really good deck which will allow you to go, one of your units goes to one battlefield which entered the last turn, so it goes to battlefield, it kills a unit with 3 or more advantage, excess damage, and the second unit you play this turn just straightens and runs to the other battlefield. Of course, this way it works, but you will get one card less in order to play around this strategy. If you can, of course, play it. Regarding Lila, she has tap her and pay 4 mana to get 3 power units, so basically like a 3 mana removal. So it's not that bad, but you need to see if your deck allows you to play 4 mana every turn to basically kill a unit or just give +3 power to one of your units. Mastery, I already told you why. Also regarding Vex, you can play her, but I don't think it will work because in limited you just go into the battlefield and your opponent goes on his turn and kicks you out of that place, so not that good. Diana, I don't think if having those like 5 mana during the whole game would be better than having this one card afterwards. Also the same for Kha'Zix, you would have a few XP points, so you would escape with your units or buff them. I don't know if I prefer to have one card more rather than give 6 times +1 to my unit. I'd rather just have 1 time 6 power unit. And regarding Poppy, you just need to have a lot of XP and then she would draw you a card. But you need to have a deck regarding it. So pretty complicated, that's why I don't advise it. And also as I was practicing for the event, I played a few games, and here are my few of the decks I built. In red you can see the chosen champions, and you can later on see what I built here. And on my channel you can see how I did with all of those decks, as I played at least one game with it. This one with Galio, I made one time. I wanted to test what happened if I don't play Galio, but I don't play Vi, but I play Galio instead. And long story short, don't repeat my mistake, just play Vi. And I also tried to play something with Zilean because I had some sprites generation. It could work, but didn't read that Zilean needs to be at the battlefield. So this deck would also perform pretty good. And the last one, pretty straightforward with Kha'Zix and some units. So thank you very much, and please subscribe.